Did the camera shake? Was it like an earthquake? Are you okay? Anyway, so that thumbnail's probably really weird. Was that a weird thumbnail? Is it a weird thumbnail? I actually remember the term, the name, thumbnail. Sorry about that. Anyway, so, things and stuff. What was I gonna say? My intros are always so very random. I do not know. Can you guys see me okay? Is there anything to see? Is there much to see? Maybe don't answer that. Leave a comment down below. So, I'd love to know. Rhymes. But okay, socks, probably don't want to see those. And I just showed them to you in full force. Does not make sense. But right, so my hair is kind of sort of wet. I would wait until this dries. My hair dries, but it's just, this is probably the only time I can film. This is probably the only chance I have to film today. Things and stuff going on. Busy Saturday, busy weekend. Yours is probably too, and if it is, you're probably not here. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's just a good time for me to film. But, right. Today's going to be a rant. It is not a rant based off of a post necessarily. Sometimes I'll share a little post on the social media things and stuff, and then I'll share with you guys that post, if that makes sense. So post like on Facebook or something, and then ba-bam, I tell you guys the post and give you guys my thoughts. So, not a post. Don't know if it will ever be a post. It's just kind of sort of random. It was inspired by a conversation with my mom this past week, a couple days ago, and last weekend I think it was, yeah. And kind of sort of inspired it, made me really stop and think, and I was reflecting and not soul searching, but I guess you could call it that, I don't know. So, it's just based off of that, these thoughts that I'm going to share, almost like a journal entry. I've just added to my notes app, and, ooh, a text, I feel so popular, just kidding. I guess that what I just said, the text, popular, whatever, can kind of lead into this. You can just go off of that. So anyway, this is a message, a rant to you from me, and will I sound like an enlightened individual? Some people call me wise and philosophical. Hope I said that right. I don't know. I'm not a mature person. I'm kind of sort of childish, just my personality, the things I say, the things I do. But I guess there are times where I just say things and stuff that people find inspiring or motivating. I like that deep, raw, human, whatever. But anyway, so my mom, she was just talking about the move and some friends who have changed, relationships which have changed just throughout this process, and our being here and our being 10 hours away from where we used to live, and just there's been a loss of contact, and relationships, they're fading, if that makes sense, and we're really starting to figure out and find out who our friends are. And for me, it's like a clean slate, a fresh start. I've talked about this before, but just this move, it's allowed me to branch off, and it's kind of sort of snowing. Kind of, it does that here. But anyway, so just, I don't know, just a time to grow and change and morph into a new person simply by being in a new area. Just being able to start over, almost. And that includes friendships, relationships, people, social, whatever. So this rant, I guess the focus, the topic, the focal point is really, if I had to pick a word, I'll just kind of go through my notes, just like skim, find keywords. So it's kind of like friends, relationships, personal journey, maybe I'll call this personal journey, or just, not loneliness, but just independence and relying on oneself and oneself only. Just, I don't know, just like alone time almost, like being okay with being alone. So anyway, now we're gonna go. So you can't need people. This is your journey and your life. Don't be afraid to be alone and have alone time. So what that just says is basically just what it says. You can't need people. People rely on people too much, I think. This world, I think it's mostly extroverted people. That's what I would say. And I'm an introverted extrovert, which sounds like an ambivert, you know, but like I thrive and survive off of alone time. Yet when I'm with people, unless, you know, it's been a day or I just can't people, you know, I am extroverted and social and talkative. That's just my personality. But I need quite a bit of alone time for an extrovert. And a lot of extroverts, from what I've noticed, like, their schedule is just jam-packed, full, and full of people. But you don't need people because this is your journey and it's your life. And just going off of my notes, don't afraid to be alone. Like, some people, they're afraid to be alone. I remember my dad told me something that he learned, he found out. There was like this study done or something, and people, they had their phone and they were just hanging out on a couch or something, just independently, just these individuals, just like almost interviewed after this experience. So they're in a room by themselves, they got their phone off to the side, and they're told to try to just be with themselves and not on their phone. So they just could be alone with their thoughts. So many people, they didn't last that long. They were just going to their phone, going back to their phone, just wanting to be on social media, not having to really think, stop and think and be alone with their thoughts. They didn't want to be with themselves, which I find very interesting. I don't really agree with that. I try not to be on my phone that much. I mean, I'm on my phone, my like phone time, it's on the Notes app. I'm going over my schedules, I'm adding to my journal, which I'm eventually going to transfer from the Notes app to my individual like topic journals. I go by theme, by topic, and I just add to that list, and then I'm just journaling that way, just through one almost item. Anyway, so social media, I like to post more than I like to be on, if that makes sense. Like, I'll update, and I see it as a journal as well, and just sharing my life, my story, my thoughts with other people occasionally. Not as bad as I used to be. There were phases where I was just always on, and I was either always posting or always scrolling. Now I don't find it interesting. I see it as a waste of time, and I have this mindset, this mentality, and I'll share this at another time, just more in depth, more in detail. But just, like, this is my life, and I don't want to live yours. Does that make sense? Not like yours personally, like being rude or anything, but just like, this is my earthly experience, and I want to use it well, and I want to be myself and find myself, and just kind of like use myself, like use my gifts, my talents, my abilities, and morph them into creativity, and find a purpose in them, and be able to just be successful and not feed off of other people's success, even though it's important to be happy for other people and their opportunities and experiences and whatever. But anyway, so that's more like electronic social media talk. But now we'll go back to this. So this is your journey, your life. So like, you're born alone and you die alone. So you might as well get to know yourself. You might as well use this earth, this time you have on this earth, in a grateful manner, where you're just enjoying the moment, enjoying the time to grow, to be a human, and just do the things that interest you. It's great to spend time with other people and have those extroverted moments and just talking to people, meeting new people, making new friends, but just don't need them. You need yourself. You need to be okay with yourself, secure in yourself, comfortable, confident in just who you are. So there's that. And then you're born into a family, good or bad. You make friends, you lose friends. So there's just all these people in your life. So it's okay to lose friends along the way. That's what I really noticed. I don't know if I was immature and naive and just childish and childlike for so long, but like fresh out of high school, graduated 2016, here it's 2019 when I'm filming this, fall semester on campus, having moved and everything. Just fresh out of high school for a while, I just thought, my hand probably looks so weird. I have a really big hand, and just like the way it's wrapped, it looks creepy. But anyway, there you go. I feel all self-conscious. But just, what was I saying? Yeah, fresh out of high school, I was like, I got my high school friends. Maybe we didn't really hang out outside of the classroom, outside of school, like after school, whatever, on weekends, whatever. But like, I would call them friends, and we hung out, we laughed, we talked in the class, and whatever. And I did hang out with some of them very rarely. Like, I've got this one friend, pretty good friends in high school, only hung out one time outside of high school, and that was after we graduated. And then this other friend, kind of same thing, just hung out a few more times. And I did not see her just before I moved. And then there was this one friend I met in like a work class, like this class that can, whatever, help you build job skills, whatever, can't explain it very well. But I've only hung out with her once, and she was the last person, well, outside of my best friend, the last person that I saw. That was the first and last time that we've hung out so far. And then just people like that. There was this one friend, pretty close in high school, pretty good friends, and then she just kind of turned cold, and I wanted to see her before I moved just one last time, even though we hadn't hung out for, like, honestly a year. And then the time before that, so like a year ago we hung out, and then the time before that, it was like another year, you know, like since I graduated from high school. So like twice a year apart since I graduated. But, yeah, so she just didn't really seem to want to hang out. Like, oh, only if you have time, I understand if you're busy with the move. So she didn't seem like, oh, even if it's like a hi and bye, like a hug and whatever, like that last connection for a while, maybe forever, I don't know. But you make friends and lose friends along the way. Then another friend, probably my best friend for a while, kind of like same thing, but I would just always have to initiate after a while. Before it was pretty even, pretty balanced, and then just randomly it was all me, and then I just, not lost interest, but I just felt just unmotivated to keep the friendship. I didn't want it to last anymore because I felt like it was all on me, and just that there wasn't that wanting to continue a friendship with this friend on her end too, especially. So those are just some friends I'm thinking of. I don't want to name them, of course, but talked about my best friend. I saw her. We talk here and there. We talked a few times just through text. Haven't FaceTimed yet or called yet. Maybe we will. I don't know. Even though I'm not really comfortable with that communication, that connection. Just feel really awkward. But anyway, personal thing. But just like since I moved here, we talked a few times, and actually have a plan, announcement, update. I have a plan to this coming winter break, just a few days after Christmas, for like a full week around New Year's time, just seeing her. I'll go back home, back in town, and then I'll stay with her for a week, and it'll be great. So she is that friend who I can rely on. It's not good to rely on people, it's not good to need people, I would say, personally. But anyway, for a long time, I didn't really need people. I didn't feel lonely. I was very extroverted, opposite of how I am now, how I can be now. Just very introverted, shy, quiet. School was enough, and I'll talk about that in a sec, how school is enough right now. But just for years, like the vast majority of my history of life, of just being alive and living and breathing, it was just me. I was just too anxious. The social anxiety was so bad, and it was just this buildup of anxious feelings that wouldn't allow me to enjoy other people. So I didn't need people then, and I really don't need people now. Maybe I should feel lonely because I'm not in the dorms. I'm a student. I don't really have plans. I haven't hung out with anybody outside of class, which isn't really hanging out, you know, in class. But other than that, I mean, there's also church. I go to church with my parents and not to church at another time with people my own age. Just personal reasons and things and stuff, and anxiety. Some of it's my choice, like the dorms and church. And then other times it's harder to initiate, I think, for other people too, and that's on them and on me. But I actually do have plans, kind of, sort of. It's for next weekend, very exciting. So I love my groups and my classes, for on-campus classes. There's this one group especially. The class is kind of sort of confusing, the teacher's really nice, but my group makes it my favorite class. And so with that, just a little bit about us. There's this one guy in the group. I'm an education major, well, like Ed, I want to teach elementary, but there's this guy, he's like a theater nerd, and he's got this play going on, starts I think today or yesterday, whatever it was, So my group's gonna go. One girl's married, and we joked like, oh, bring your cute little husband. And then I was like, well, actually we don't know if he's cute because we've never really met him, but we're assuming because you're married to him, whatever. And then this other girl, I have hung out with her. It was on campus though, and it was like after class, but I guess that counts. Got food, but it was to go, and then we hung out at this thing, and we have gone a few other times. I was sick for the last one, so I didn't go. Anyway, so yeah, I kind of sort of have plans, and then I also made a little chat for that group. I did a little group chat, little group text thing, and it was funny. One of the girls, she was like, thank you for making this. We had talked about it before, talked about going together, and now we can officially plan, and I guess it's official now that we're friends, kind of. And they do all say, like, they don't really have a social life either. I mean, they're in the dorms, so it's like they're forced to have one. But outside of that, the dorms and classes and church and stuff, it seems like they don't really. But I don't have that, so they have more than I have. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, so you have to be secure in yourself and okay with yourself, have self-love. Just get to know yourself. Other people are important, and it's great to get to know other people, meet new people, and make new friends. But you need to be your own friend, and you need to find a peacefulness in yourself, and just be okay with yourself. I don't know if you can see my face, but anyway. So I think, what was I gonna say? I think this was what I was gonna say. So I talked to my dad a little bit about this. This conversation is mostly like notes from my mom. Like, these notes came from that conversation with my mom. I am a weirdo. I remember conversations and words, and I overanalyze conversations. It's been really bad recently. It's probably just school, just the extra stress and anxiety with that, and it's just caused my paranoia to be worse. But anyway, I also talked to my dad a little bit about this topic, like loneliness, independence, whatever, and he told me that he remembers his mom saying that independent and almost like lonely people, like loners, like the lone wolf, they are very intelligent, very smart. If you can entertain yourself and have alone time and be okay with that alone time, then you're seen as very smart, and there are studies that have been done, studies show, whatever. And my dad was that kid just growing up. He would really spend a lot of time just doing his own thing and minding his own business. And he's very social, but he's not afraid to be alone. And I've noticed that in him and in other people I know. I have a lot of introverted friends. Let's see. So convert your creativity in realizing that friends go away. Wait, did I say that was his mom, my Nana Frida, who said that? Who has since passed? Whatever. I love her. Okay. Convert your creativity in realizing that friends go away. Friendships die. My notes, they're just like one paragraph, and there's no periods or commas or anything. So convert your creativity. So being alone, it allows you to be creative. You can take your feelings and morph them into creativity. If you have depression, I have that, and I have noticed that I'm the most creative when I'm going through a harder time emotionally, and I just transform and convert those feelings, that time being alone and being off, feeling off, I just convert it to creativity. And then realize that friends go away and friendships die, and that's okay. So I really had to realize that, just, it's okay to be a friend with someone and not be their friend forever. It could be on you, on them, on both of you guys, just losing interest or just losing that connection, that friendship. And that's okay. Just know that you had fun with them and it was great until it wasn't, I guess. It could be a toxic friendship that had to die, that had to go away, that had to end. Or it could just be almost hurtful and kind of sort of sad that just there's no more of that bond. And that's okay. You were able to meet them and know them, and you learned from them who you want to be like, who you don't want to be like, who you can look up to or who you can't, you know. You learn from people and you grow from people, and it's important just to know that it's okay to not be everybody's friends or friends with someone for forever. And it was fun while it lasted. I have that in here too. So I have an independent personality, and I think not enough people do. I think too many people rely on people in this life. And so life is personal growth and self-progress. Life is very personal. I talked a little bit about this. It's a process of progress. You are born only to die, and in the middle, you are gonna use your time wisely, hopefully. You are gonna be yourself and find yourself, and just do things and stuff that inspire and motivate others, and especially yourself. Just trying to be a better person, and just use your talents and gifts, and just change the world in your own small way. And you don't need other people to do that. It's fun to. They can cheer you on. You can spend time with them and have fun with them. But it's you that has to be your own best friend. So life is personal growth, self-progress, be a friend to yourself. Talked a little bit about that. You need to like yourself. If you're a friend of yourself and you like yourself, you're not afraid to be alone. And you have a certain confidence about you. I find that I am not that confident in a room full of people, but I feel whole and just entirely, entirely a person when I'm alone. I feel most myself, and I'm able to focus and be creative and just not be anxious, which is a really good feeling. So you don't need to have friends to be happy. That's also really big. Some people, like, they have to be with somebody all the time. Excuse me. And then, it's like those internal, like, burps, whatever. I keep saying, I'm really trying not to. Usually I don't say, yeah. I was gonna say it again. So, yeah, you don't need to have friends to be happy, and I think too many people have that mindset, that mentality. It's kind of twisted and warped. It's where they just have to be surrounded by people 24/7, and that's the only joy that they feel. Then when they're alone, they're walking to class by themselves, they just have a nervous breakdown internally inside, like, oh, I can't do this. I mean, I used to feel that when I went through a phase where I had to be with people all the time, and I was just relying on people too much. And I wasn't okay with my inner being. So I think that's a part of the problem. So, you can be content in and with yourself. And I think that's really important. Just getting to know yourself and getting to be okay with yourself. You can be content with other people. It's harder for me. I love other people, but it's harder for me to be comfortable and content. I just feel judged and paranoid. Like, are they looking at me? Are they thinking bad about me? Are they saying things about me? Just throughout conversations, and just overanalyzing and imagining fictitious feelings and thoughts. So don't be offended if friends move on and kind of go next, if that makes sense. So, like, next in line, like, who's next in my future of friendship? Who's going to be my next friend? I'm going to go seek out a new person. People might get bored. I think that's why relationships end. I think your significant other, it's either you break up or you get married. There is an interest or there isn't. It might die over time, they might lose their feelings, and that's how friends work as well. Some people, they may be childhood best friends, and then they grow, and they're still friends. They still have that friendship, that closeness about them, and then they die best friends. Or they don't. The friendship could be like a week. It could be a one-time hangout, and then they're gone. You're gone. It could last this long, that long, whatever, but they might move on, and it's not necessarily your fault. It can be. There could be cruel words exchanged, or on your part, or on their doing. It's just, people move on. They do. So this move has really taught me who my friends are and who they are not. So, yeah, I talked about that as well. I'm kind of going back and forth with these thoughts. These are just added thoughts. I didn't really, go to this spot of the paragraph and add there. I just kept on going, from the bottom, just continuing. So, so it's good to have friends, but it's best to be a good and honest friend to self. So, you want good friends. You don't want toxic people in your life. Some people, they almost seem to attract it because they're toxic themselves, or they are a pushover and they are seen as too nice. And I've had that problem where I would just let anybody in, and I was just an open book, and I didn't care who I let in, who I involved in my life. And you want good friends. You want to be surrounded by good people, because then you will feel good, and they will be kind to you, and they will love you, and you can feel the same about them. So, also, it's best to be a good and honest friend to yourself. You want to be a good person and a good friend to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. You don't want to be easy on yourself. If you're easy on yourself, you're probably not going to grow. You're probably not going to change and morph into a better person and whatever. And honest friend to yourself, honest friend, they are not afraid to say what's on their mind. They say what they mean what they say, and you should be that way about yourself. If you're, again, too easy on yourself, then you're not really being your own friend. So, that's important. And then, this thought, I'm debating on sharing this, I'll just share it. So, are friendless people suicidal? And that, is the last thought I want to share. I've gone over everything else. So, this is a very serious topic, and it's hard for a lot of people to talk about. I know people who have lost people to suicide. I have not been affected by it directly. I have had best friends and close friends and acquaintances lose people to suicide. Actually, there is this one person, more like an acquaintance from school, who I did know and who I did talk to on occasion, rarely, just like rarely interacted with, that I remember from elementary school even. She went to high school with me. She actually did. She took her own life. And I think both friendless and friendly and surrounded by friends, just both those types of people, just all across the board, just whatever. The people in their life, the lack thereof, or a lot, family and friends and everyone, I think that it's possible to end. I think that's why it's so important to be a good friend. And there are even good friends who lose someone. If you see where I'm at. I can cut it short there, but this is 27. Okay, the camera's getting hot. But so just be a good friend. And I still don't know what the theme of this video was. I guess it's just being secure, like I've already done self-love, a video on that, but just like being secure in oneself, loneliness, independence, maybe I'll call that independence, friends, random rant. So I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna let you go. I'm not forcing you to be here. You can click off right now. Okay, so bye.